Hello everyone. Today we're going to go ahead and put together the HMS battleship Prince of Wales. This is part of our Battle of Denmark Strait series, if you want to call it, which is a series of only 2 ships. The Bismarck and Prince Eugen are already assembled. We just, in the other video, assembled the Hood, which is off drying. And now we're going to go ahead and do the Prince of Wales. The camera is zoomed in quite a bit because I hope that's easier to see what I'm doing. But because I'm not a professional at any of this, I end up off camera, my fingers get in the way, you know. So this is just more for the joy of hanging out with me while I build stuff. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. Try to open this up. There we go. Without losing or bending stuff. This pewter stuff is just so fragile. The last video, the hardest thing was the cannon, well, the barrels on the turrets. So used to calling things cannons, but the barrels on the turrets. So I'm going to pull some pieces out here. This looks like it's going to have a lot of little fiddlies. Great. Nothing like little fiddlies to make my day. Alright, so there's the ship. Done. Thanks for watching. No, I'm kidding. I wish it was that easy. Alright, so here we have an assortment of stuff. There's the body. Okay, we got a couple turrets, just sorting some pieces out here. Let's look at the instructions. The UKN, probably United Kingdom Navy 52 Battleship Prince of Wales. King George V, or King George V class battleship. Class also includes King George V, Duke of York, Anson, and Howe. Along with the Hood, she engaged the Bismarck and Prince Eugen in the Battle of Denmark Strait. She joined Force H escorting the Malta convoys during Operation Halberd. Finally torpedoed and sunk along with the repulse by the Japanese on December 10, 1941. Well, that sucks. I kind of like that ship. Now it's sunk. Alright, well, I'm going to have to buy some Japanese so I can use some of my British in the, Pacific as well. Well, dual purpose. Now I got to find some small scale Italian stuff so I can have Italians and British. I just really like the red and white striping on the front of the Italian ships. My son thinks it's ridiculous, but I think it's pretty cool. Had to get a drink. Of course, none of that has anything to do with what we're doing here. So we're going to build this sucker. So first thing I do, I'm just testing to see how flat it is on the table. I check for rocking. You can see here, even top down, there's some rocking. So I got to find a nice little friendly bend point, bend it down, and eliminate the rocking. And now we have a nice flat ship to work with. Let me see. Yep, pretty flat. Good. Now we got to decide what to do. I got two funnel assemblies right here. So let's start with that. I got to cut those from their sprue. First, I'm going to remove some of this excess pewter. Bucket. Oh, there's the funnels. These are... I don't have a clue what that is. Crap. Oh, man. This shows 2 big funnels. What are those superstructures? Those look like funnels surrounded by... Ah, I see what it is. We're going to use both. One big funnel in the back, and then a little funnel here at the front with some like AA guns mounted. So big funnel, little funnel. So one of each. So let's cut that loose. One goes back in the packaging. Cut you loose. One goes back in the packaging. Alright. We're going to cut you from the little, I call it a sprue. Hopefully for pewter and plastic it's still called a sprue. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to try and cut that, but there's a nub. Because there's a hole, I'm sure, to hold the funnel. So the back, I see there's no nub. And the front area here, there's ever so slightly bit of a nub. So I'm going to try and cut it to preserve the nub. You see what I'm talking about? There's the nub for the hole. And what I'm going to do is scrape some of this excess flash here to make that level. Of course, it's out of zoom, out of focus. All right, let me dry fit that. Now that one goes right before the gap. And those guns are on the back. So I just want to make sure the nub. Yeah. That looks great. It fits in there just perfect. So it's nice and flush. So when we glue that, that's going to work beautifully. Now the thing is, it's trying to show me how to put that in, but I don't see, unless just dry fitting again, goes off the back or towards. I'm going to put this sucker, I think it's really hard to tell because those two towers with the AA guns are not flush exactly. So I'll just have to do my best. Do my best to figure out how to put it in there. Okay, so that's one. Then we have this funnel here, and it is attached at 3 points with a nub in the middle. So we're going to cut close to the figure here, close to the figure, which, there we go, snap close to the figure, and then I'm going to use the X-Acto blade to get down here and cut under the nub. Okay, throw that away. Now we have the funnel, and there's the connection points. So I'm actually going to just shave those down a little bit so that way when I place this, it will sit flush. It doesn't take much at all, because that's pretty soft metal. And then just a little bit off of the nub, just the tip. Again, just clean the tip so it fits in the hole. I think we got it. I'm going to dry fit that. And that one, you know what? That actually, that's the front one. Now that I'm looking at the picture, so it's actually going to sit like that. That's the one that sits right here. Okay, and we've got that now trimmed up really nice. So that's going to fit great. That's going to fit great when we glue it. And then this one sits in the back. And I'm going to fit it like that. And that's going to fit pretty good. I'm going to clean that nub up a little bit so it fits in the hole better. But that should sit nice and flush when we're all done. Alright, good. I'm glad I took the time to dry fit those pieces. Okay, so the funnels are good. Then we have this large superstructure with a bent antenna. That antenna is way horrible. So I gotta very carefully pull that up, and here's some flash at the tip. Okay, that pulled right off. And now we've got to try to straighten that out. Yikes. Yeah, this is a real pain here. That's not straight at all. Yeah. How does that look? That's probably as straight as I'm going to get that. I think that's part of some antenna assembly. So that is about as straight as I'm going to get it. Yeah. Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, you know, a little bend never hurt anybody. Okay, so how does that fit? And that's also going to fit. There's a little bit of flash at the bottom here. Let me grab some of that. Overall, this one is not too bad. The little bits of flash are kind of a pain, but once you find them, cut them off. I know my hands are blocking the light, so it makes it really hard to see. So super sorry for that. But there, I got some of that flash. And the bottom here, there's a little bit of pewter. So we're going to clean that. And off the front, just kind of scrape. And that looks pretty flat. And then we've got superstructure. Now we're just going to dry fit. And yeah, that's going to go good. That leaves a little bit of room for that funnel section in the back. And that sits pretty flush to the deck. So I think we'll be okay. I look around. I just trying to look just to see where there's large gaps between the superstructure and the deck. Yeah, that's going to be fine. So after that, then it looks like we got to put a lot of the secondary guns, and then we'll put the main turrets, and we should be fine. So let's go ahead and glue that first superstructure. And I'm putting glue not only in the hole, but then around on the deck, so that this superstructure will, have a little extra glue points to hold on to. And then we hope it is aligned. It takes forever sometimes for that glue just to hold a little bit. I wish it was like quick drying glue would be good. So I'm just going to hold that in place. But it is sitting. It sits pretty good. That's sitting pretty nice. Alright, so I'm going to just gently leave that be. Whoa, nerve-wracking. Yep, today we've got Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't know what you drink when you build models, but I didn't want to have a monster drink or something and be like, yeah, let's build. Alright, so this superstructure smokestack here goes right up against that antenna basing. So we're going to put some glue. And again, put a little bit on the deck so it will attach to the superstructure. I'm going to use tweezers in here just because it is up against that other part. And maybe you can see here without my fat fingers in the way. Now we did dry fit that earlier, but it is not wanting to go. I think because that antenna is like right there. Yeah, it's not going to fit with that antenna there. Oh man. Okay, so yep. That antenna base is like right there. So executive decision. I'm going to cut the nub. Here we go. I don't like doing that. The nub is gone. But what that will allow me to do now is fit that superstructure part just flush where it needs to be. So I'm going to put a little glue back in the area. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely hate doing that, but that happens sometimes when these parts don't all line up very good. They do a pretty good job where they can, but sometimes you just gotta clip the tip. And now we're just gonna hold that. Now I just gotta do a quick look to see if we've got it lined up. I just moved it ever so slightly, and I'm going to make sure it's pushed up against that superstructure there. And I'm going to put a little more glue. Yeah, where I'm looking, you can see it's lined up pretty good. I'm going to move it over just a little bit, and I'm going to have to glue it. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is put some glue down the front there and hope the glue kind of seeps in a little bit, because again, we did just cut that nub. Now I'm going to hold this here, but I know that the way I've got this angled is so I can see it, and I know that you won't be able to see it very well. I apologize for that. But the glue, it does not want to flow there. So what we're going to do is hope that the glue that I had is enough to dry and hold that in place. If it pops off, then we'll just have to re-glue it. But that's lined up about as good as I can get. Alright, there you go. There's one of the smokestacks. And that one does look like it's angled back just a little bit. So that seems to follow the picture pretty good. Alright, so we're going to get the other smokestack on here. Now I do have another tower section for the back. And it's got a bent, I tell you, this pewter stuff, it bends in the packaging so easily. So just very gently pull that up. And I'm just trying to use my fingernails to try and get in there and straighten that out a little bit. But the more you try to fix it, the weaker it gets. Alright, there's some flash attached here. Well, the thing is, I gotta make sure, is it flash or is it arms of an antenna that have just been bent around? I think it's flash. Dun 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 dun. Alright, I'm gonna put this on the mat and just as carefully as I can trim that flash away from the arms of that antenna section or whatever that is. I think we got it. Pick up that spare flash with my finger. So that's going to go on the back, and there's a nub, and that looks clean. We'll dry fit it, of course, to make sure that everything is good. And that goes like this. I'm not going to glue that one yet, but just a dry fit. Oh yeah, that sits nice and snug actually. So that will go in very, 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 very good. So that one's fine. Here's the other funnel. And the way this is, I was kind of dry fitting it, and it seems like it's going to go however. You know, yeah, I'm not happy. Something doesn't quite seem right, but I've tried to dry fit some of this stuff, and I've got it the best way to match the pictures I can. So we're just going to go with it. It's glued there now. If something's wrong, someone's going to have to point it out later. Alright, here we go. That funnel's going to go in here. I'm just dry fitting again, and that'll sit snug. So let's grab the glue. So we're going to grab it, put there at the middle section. Find the middle hole. Perfect. Now it's just a matter of getting that somewhat level. Now it looks like it's got some leaning back as well, so they both lean back just a little bit, and then it's just a matter of getting it, you know, so it feels flush, left, right, forward and backwards. And so from the top, looks like I could lean it a little bit to the right, but that feels flush, so we're going to leave it like that. It probably is not 100% lined up correctly, but that is about as flush as I can get it. Let's take it off. It's not sitting flush as much as I want. I'm going to try and trim a little bit of the pewter from the bottom, very carefully avoiding the nub, and then see if I can get that to sit in the hole a little bit better. Again, it's one of those things where once you have it painted and you're standing back from the table a foot or two, you're not going to notice those slight bends and differences. But the fact that you're the one building it and you noticed it is hard not to want to fix something that, you know, just maybe is not going to matter all that much. Okay, now I just got to figure out how to get you in there. Alright, twist it around a little bit. Twisty, twisty, get it back on camera. Alright, we tried to trim out a little bit. And now what I got to do is just make sure again that it's all facing forward and backwards proper. Yeah, so I just kind of trimmed on the bottom a little bit to try and make it stand more straight up and down and align with that front funnel a little bit, and that does look a lot better. It might not be perfect, but it looks better, and I know that it is more properly lined up. Now we have this back. Oh, I just bumped that with my head. We now have the back superstructure element to put in, so we'll do that right now. I got two of these. They know me so well. That way if I muck it up, they gave me a spare one. Great. Thank you, GHQ. Well, I'm going to set that aside. Currently only need one. So let's put it on there. I did dry fit that a little bit, and I think we're good. So I'm just going to go ahead and dry fit it one more time. Okay, it goes this way. I can't tell. Ah, yeah, this way. That's why I wanted to dry fit this just one more time. Yeah, perfect. I mean, that sits in there so good. You're going to see how good that looks here after I glue it. Glue, glue, glue. And nub, nub, nub. Hole, hole, hole. Oh, now I don't want, there we go. Yeah, that like fits to a T. Oh yeah, I'm holding that. Dang if some of that still don't look bent. Gosh darn. I think sometimes that's just the imperfection of the casting. Because now one looks bent one way, one looks bent the other way, but if you try to fix it, you're just gonna make it worse. Oh, I overfixed it. Yeah. But again, if you hold it from a ways away, looks great. Yeah, wonderful. It's matching the picture. What a beauty. Yeah. Funnels, smokestacks. Looks like a plane fits in the middle. But did I get a plane? Nope, I did not get a plane. Alright, let's find some turrets here. Wait a minute. I got a biplane. We're going to put a plane on there. Oh, I'm like hunched over in my chair. Okay, there's a crane. This will have 2 cranes. Yeah, I've got like 3 planes, 2 cranes, a bunch of secondaries. So as I put this together, all those little pieces are starting to make sense of where they are, you know, where they go, what they are. Alright, another drink of Diet Dr. Pepper. I think, well, the cranes go there, plane goes there, and then secondary, secondary, secondary. Trying to see where the crane fits. They have a crane that fits, oh, they fit up top on either side of the smokestack, according to the picture. That's fine. And then all the secondaries go on all these fixtures here and there. It's a bunch of secondaries. So let's do the main guns first. We're going to do the main guns. Now, what's interesting, this is why I thought the Prince of Wales was cool, is it has this unique, to me, turret configuration where it's got 2 that have 4 barrels and 1 that's got 2 barrels. So it gives you a grand total of 10 barrels. Whereas like the Iowa, kind of the what I call like the traditional American build, is 3 triple turrets. So that's 9. So this has 1 extra barrel on it. That's pretty cool. However, from my understanding, is that at the Battle of the oh, I forgot what it's called, Battle of Denmark Strait, is that 4-barrel turret, because it was kind of new, maybe experimental even, it had some technical issues and wasn't quite firing as effectively as it should. So I thought that was interesting, but I still think it's really cool. So I'm going to trim off some of that flash and get the tips. Flash. Got him. Get that happy flash. You've got some flash going crazy. So we'll flip you upside down and cut flash. And I see some on the barrel. So I just take and scrape along very carefully to move the flash forward and get close. There we go. Flash. And then we take this second one, I'm going to flip it and just again kind of scrape to pull that flash forward and cut the tip. Flash. Now the trick with this is those 4 barrels, instead of like just 2 on the hood per turret, this has got 4 to try and make somewhat straight and decent. So wish me luck. So I'm just taking the tip of my X-Acto blade and we're going to pull, and then I'll use my fingernail here. But the idea is I'm just trying to move those over a little bit so they have like equal space in between them and look somewhat straight out and not all bent crazy like they are right now. And then this one here. Well, from the top they look pretty good. Let me just check some flash here. Now the trick is making sure they're kind of in line from the side. And then we have 4 barrels. Some AA on top. Yep. Okay. Like I said, sometimes you might notice little things that are still kind of imperfect, but the more you try and fix it, the more you're going to break it. And I don't have any spare turrets. Some of these model kits I get extra turrets for days. I've got a lot of secondaries, but this is it for the primary. So I am not going to overwork those barrels, because once they're gone, that's it. I really don't want to buy another Prince of Wales just to replace a barrel that I was overzealous in cleaning. Now let me get the bottom nub here. So just like I did on the hood, I just kind of hold it against my thumb and then take and scrape. Let me make sure this one is pretty clean. That way it'll just fit down in that hole a little bit better. So there's a little bit of growth. There we go. Just scrape the growth off. And then we're going to try and straighten those barrels out. I'm going to use my fingernail first. Again, ignore the fingers. Don't look at my gross fingers. But the idea is we want to try and straighten the barrels. Now these are really close together, so I'm going to take my X-Acto blade in between the barrels if I can. And just kind of... Now you got to not over bend them. This one can use a little bit of bending this way. Now I'm going to hold them on the side and see if I can make sure they're all kind of level. Yeah, that's not too bad. That lined up pretty good. And they are fairly straight now. Now, let's do the double barrel. I'm going to check that for flash. That looks like a little bit of flash on the end. So again, we just nip the tip. I'm going to put my thumb against the nub for putting it onto the ship and scrape the little growth. There we go. That should sit now inside the barbette of the hole. And those barrels from here in my hand, they don't look too bad. The thing that I hate though is sometimes the barrel, like it curves. So it's not just bent, it has like a curve, whereas like you need to have something in the middle and then bend the top back so you don't get a curve anymore. But that's like not an easy thing to do. And I can kind of see a little bit of an S curve here. I don't know if I can fix that with just the X-Acto knife. Maybe just bring it back a little bit. That's probably about as good as I'm going to get on that double barrel one. And then make sure these are fairly level. That's probably about as good as I'm going to get on that one. So those main guns are good. So the 4 go on the bottom. Oh, it says paint. No need for primer. I'm still going to find a very light gray as like a ship hull. Probably still kind of prime it a little bit. Now, I always assemble this and then very carefully try to paint the decking and whatnot. If I was smart with this, I would paint this now before I attach the main cannons so I can get in there and do the wood for the decking. But again, just in case I'm not able to get it painted in time for when I want to play, it's assembled, I can play, I can paint later. So, you know, you take the good with the bad. So the 4, this one here with the anti-aircraft goes on the back. This one that's flat goes here, and it fits in there nice. So we're gonna drop some glue right here. Glue. Let me find it. It fell out. And again, I glue them. I know some brave folks that don't glue them, and they're very lucky at not losing turrets, but then they don't have a cat. We've got 2, and then they didn't have children. That way they could rotate the turrets to simulate, you know. I mean, it looks great because you're on the table, you move, your ship's facing here, then you like rotate the little itty bitty turrets, you know, like so they're facing off towards the opponent. But then with me, I sneeze or something, and then they're gone. So I am not that brave. Alright, there's the first of the main 4 barreled cannons. Turrets. Whatever it's called. Let's see here. Not a sailor. I'm going to get these terms wrong. Not intentionally. Okay. Now we're going to put the little turret here. It's in. Tweezers, help me. There we go. There it was. Come on. Glue, don't fail me now. Alright, let's try to rotate you a little bit. Rotate you a lot. And that's not quite flush. Oh man, this is not sitting in there very good. Alright. I'm going to get this as good as I can. And then let it be. Because again, if you mess with this stuff too much, you're going to overdo it. And then at some point, it's just going to dry in a very bad spot, or you're going to bend or break something. And I don't want to do that on this one. Because again, I don't have any spare turrets that came with the packaging. Boy, and that sucker, like, when it shifts a lot. So I'm going to try and use my fingers. Yeah. Okay, that's probably about as good as I'm going to get that by Mark 1 eyeballing it. So we're going to go with that. Alright, rear turret. Glue me. Here we go. Rear turret is in, and it's out, and it's in, and it's out. Come on. Come on, find the hole. There we go. Alright, let's try to line that up a little bit. I'm going to put more glue in there because I don't think much is there, so it just isn't holding. There we go. Now we got some glue. Alright, let's see if you can see what I'm doing this time. Trying to do this without bending the barrels. Okay, there we go. Now it's the glue I can feel is gripping, and I'm going to just try and line this up a little bit. Too much. Too little. Too much. Just want to get it mostly straight in. Oh, come on. I can tell it's still not quite right. I mean, that's like the last one here, is to try and get that. Okay, I think there's some like superstructure or item underneath that's keeping this from quite settling right where I want it to be. Alright, that's probably about as good as I'm going to get that one. I think we've done it there. So we've got the 6 total barrels in the front, 4 in the back. And that's about it. The rest is 2 cranes, the aeroplane, and secondaries. Alright, I keep bumping this thing. I'm going to lift this up and then rezoom a little bit, because I keep bumping the camera with my head here. I don't mean to do that. It's all shaky. Alright, it's gonna steady out, trust me. There, I'm not bumping it with my head. Okay, so first we've got the cranes. I'm going to cut the 2 that look the most straight. That's going to be these 2 right here. What is this? Oh, it's another airplane. At least I got a couple of airplanes to play with. Alright, so crane number 1. Crane number 2. And I only need 1 plane. So I'm going to leave that spotting plane right there. We're going to cut some flash off of it. Flash, throw it away. I'm going to flip it upside down so I can cut here. Alright. And then that little plane is teeny, but it's a little biplane, so we'll have fun painting that, whatever colors. So airplane is good, and then that is some flash, because those cranes, it looks like they're just kind of straight. So I'm going to cut this very tip that had some nasty looking flash. Alright, cranes look done. Now the cranes are nubbed as well, so I'm going to dry fit them. Thing is, I got to figure out how bent and straight and level and things. It doesn't, according to the picture, they're not like high angled up, they look kind of flat. So I don't need to put much angle on them. Just enough so they're like up and away from the ship. So I've got one here. And I'm going to try and get the other one to be kind of up and then bent down a little bit. And bend that a little bit. The idea is to get these to look kind of similar, so they're on both sides when it's flat. I'm going to lift this one up a little bit more if I can get it. Well, actually that one's pretty high. Was it this one? Actually, I think that one is higher. So yeah, we're going to lift this one up a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is just grab at the bottom, lift. Alright. And they're going to go next to this rear superstructure. I think this might be better to put the plane in first. So I'm going to put the plane so it launches across, catapults out. So what I'm going to do is grab some glue, put it here. You can't see. Put it here. And then we're going to grab the tweezers, grab the plane by the back side, and stick it. And just like that, the plane isn't sticking. Alright, it's too far forward. Okay. More glue. Remember, more glue is usually the answer. Alright, there's a big fat glop of glue. And now I'm going to pick the plane up and set it on the glop of glue. Now in the tweezers, it feels like it's connecting and holding. Then I pull the tweezers away and it's connecting and holding to the tweezers. So let's grab it here. Oh, that's gonna drive me bonkers. Alright, where's my other tweezers? You're being demoted. Alright, let's see if I can do this with my fingers. Come on, fingers. Don't fail me now. There it is. Sometimes the fingers work. Ha! My wife said I didn't know how to use an index finger. There it is. Yes. Yes. There it is. Airplane. And it's going to shoot across the deck. Catapult. Beautiful. Alright. Aeroplane attached. Okay. Now we've got these cranes right there. Now I'm going to dry fit one just to see if it fits in the hole. I'm grabbing it with tweezers here. Might be off camera, but and we're going to see if we can get it. Yeah, those are going to fit, and it's just a matter of how exactly do I want them lined up. So let's drop some glue. Let's grab the crane again. And it's in-ish. And it just totally rotated away from where I wanted. I'm going to see if I can feel that. Yeah, we're going to get it in place with the tweezer and then use my finger to kind of get a feel for it. Alright, so there it is. It's not touching the other superstructure-ish. It kind of sort of is. But it's a crane. It's there. So we're going to dab this other one. Glue. Alright. Let's see if I can just feel this one. No, I'm going to have to tweezer it in. Tweezer and then try to use my fingers to get it just in that final resting place. Problem is, when I try to pull the tweezers away, it just kind of knocks this around a little bit. Alright, it's in. Got it. Alright. That doesn't look right. It's hard for you to tell because I got it off camera, but it doesn't quite look in. It wasn't in as good as the other crane was, so I'm going to try and get it one more time. Alright, this one is not fitting in the hole as well as the other crane did. So that's, I'm going to try one more time here. I may end up having to trim it. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut the nub and then just glue it directly to the ship. So I don't like doing that because that's why those nubs and the guides and the holes are there. But if it's not going to fit, these things are so small, it's really hard then to just, you know, go in and say, oh, okay, here's how I can drill this out or trim the nub or whatever it is you're doing. So here we go. This way I get it mostly where I want, and the glue is going to hold it in place forever. Okay, then we're going to try and straighten that out. And then it is down. All right. Oh, and it stuck to my finger. I know you're having a hard time seeing that, but gosh darn. It was looking like a good spot too. And then it said, yeah, but we're going to stick to your finger. Alright, we might just have to go with that. Once it dries just a little bit, we'll be able to move it a little bit. Alright, the thing is, I didn't bend that one enough at the top, so there's not much of a bend. It's a lot more straight. So once that's dried, I could probably take the tweezers, grab it, and just bend it a little bit. Otherwise, it looks pretty spot on to the other one. So the cranes will be just ever so slightly until I can get in there and bend it into shape when the glue is dry. So right now it looks kind of off. But it's better than trying. Yeah, let's fix it. So I'm going to bend it down just a little bit more. Might as well fix it while I can. Okay, we're going to go one more time. Yep, that did better. So I'm just trying to manipulate it into a final resting place. And that, okay, that actually looks so much better. Again, not perfect, but better than what it did a few minutes ago. So we're going to leave it like that before we go. And like I said, last thing you want to do is over fix things. We've got secondaries. How many secondaries? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 secondaries on a per side. So 8 total. Yep. That's it. Then we're done. Then we'll call that a build. So far, that's the Prince of Wales coming in. So we got to grab just a couple more secondaries and then we're done. Secondaries on camera. Alright, here we go. One secondary. 2 secondary. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, this scrap I'm just going to toss. And here we go, a couple more. 7, 8. Alright, 8 8 secondaries. Whew. All right. Now these suckers are horrible. They've got a lot of flash. They're not looking very good at all. So we're going to clip you and then straighten in those two little guns out. Alright, so we're going to make this like a two-part effort. First is, let's get the flash off the tips of the barrels. Then we'll straighten the barrels as good as we can, and then we will attach them to the ship. I will dry fit a couple. Honestly, the last few vessels I did, I had to cut the nubs off the bottom and just glue these directly to the hull, just because, again, how they're cut, the nub and the size of the hole, they just weren't lining up at all. Now I gotta move that barrel a little bit. Okay, that one actually was pretty good. Not much flash, so just trying to make them look equal in length. And I might go back and just trim up the part of the turret that was attached to the sprue. Again, just to make sure it kind of keeps and retains that roundness on the little turret. Alright, I don't see flash here, so that one's good. Now you can see here this has a huge tail. Okay, that's pretty good. That's 6. Okay, a little bit of flash on this one. Not as bad as that one. Oh, I take it back. That has a huge tail. Alright. Ta-da! This one's got like a double tail here. I don't know if you can see that very good, but that's got two big tails coming off the barrels. And there we go. Operation complete. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking at the back of the turret, and you can see where I cut, there's some pewter sticking out. So what I'm going to do is hold this very carefully and then press against there to try and trim off that. And that way I'm left with a little smaller turret. We're going to do that to all of these. There we go. 2. And then we'll just straighten the barrels out and then we'll be good. That one doesn't look too bad. This one just a little bit. Okay, good. Okay, great. All right, good. All right, just a couple more here. Just again, to kind of trim it up off the back. And then one more. That's probably pretty good. Woo! Alright, now these barrels are really, really small. So I'm going to see if I can just take the X-Acto blade. And what I'm doing, if you can see, is I'm holding down the turret. And I'm just going to use the X-Acto blade to kind of separate them out. So hold on the back and blade, gently bend it into position. Not bad. And then you want to make sure that they're kind of pointing up a little bit, not at the water necessarily. Alright, and that one, it looks a lot worse on camera than it does in person, but I think that one is good. Okay, next. Okay, that one does got some crookedness to it. So again, we're just going to take and gently bend the barrel into place. There we go. Fixed. Okay, you. Alright, those barrels don't look the same length, so I'm just going to trim it a little bit. Close enough. There, that. I don't want to trim too much because maybe from the front it looks fine. Okay, they're good. Almost done. Now some of these already look pretty good. I probably really don't want to, mess with it. That one looks okay. We're just going to straighten you out a little bit. Too much. Good enough. Yeah, see, like that one's obviously crooked, so we're going to try and straighten it out a little bit. And try to get them both in the same way here. Yep, and good. And that's not too bad. Alright, and this one's got just a ever so tiny bit of a bend. Too much. Just kind of gently flick it into place. Alright, and I just want to make sure these are somewhat level. And again, not facing the sea, but kind of up a little bit. Trying to get the focus. So I think that'll be okay. This one will be okay. I think they're pretty good for the most part. Again, just doing a quick check to make sure I don't have any that are, bent down into the water, because that isn't going to help anybody. But some might be up a little bit, some might be down a little bit. So I don't think they're all going to be the exact same elevation angle. And this guy is bent. Bent it trying to unbend it. Ah, shoot. And now it's broke. Not quite broke, but broke enough. Grab a spare. See, that's what happens when you over fiddle. Let me make sure these other ones are okay. Yep. Like I said, it's just a quick little cursory. I mean, if it's obviously bent bad out of elevation, I think those are going to be good. So let's get one. And then I think we'll just accept it the way it is for the most part. So again, find the flash, trim the flash, take the blade, bend it a little bit to straighten it out. Trim from the back a little bit to get it round again. Alright, that one is much better. Okay, I think we got them all. We got them all. So let's put them on. And again, let me dry fit one, because I would hate to have to do it, but I want to make sure that I don't have to trim the nub off of any of these. And these are going to be a real pain. And they all fit forward and backwards. Oh hey, that one fit right in. So I think I'll be able to glue, put them in, and then rotate them so they're facing forwards and backwards properly. Good. Good, good, good. Now it's just a matter of gripping them with the tweezers, so I might have to go in this way. Yep, and then rotate them where they need to be, like so. Alright, we've got a plan, and then we'll have secondaries. Alright. Alright, glue one more time. Put a healthy, generous dose of glue. Grab the tweezers. First one fell off. Don't worry, we're going to get you in there. Come on, go to your home. Don't you want to go in your home? Yes, you do. Found it. Rotate it. Oh yeah, secondaries. You good, sir. Secondary, rotate. Boom. I'm having a hard time seeing that. Can't even show you, but secondary. See, some of the barrels, they got a little elevation on them. Some are kind of level. That's okay. Once they're painted, and like I said, you're kind of looking back a little bit, you'll see secondaries. Might not be perfect, but they're on there, and the barrels are about as straight as I can get on these little itty bitty tiny pieces. Now painting this, that's the part that I don't do any good at. Secondary in. Okay, pretty good there. I should have done the bottom one first, but glue. Okay. Rotate you back. Alright, so note to self, bottom secondary and then upper secondary. Okay, that one looks good. Here we go, secondary. See if I can rotate this one a little bit. Okay. I think in rotating it, I squeezed the barrel. All right, there we go. That's 4. We are almost done. We've got four of these little things to do, and then we're done. So let's grab that one next. Rotate. Okay, good. That one. Yeah, and it's really hard because it's, you know, pewter on pewter, so it's really hard to see the secondary in there. But it's in there, and it looks pretty good. It's rotated. Glue. Tweezer. Secondary. Rotate. And that's in. All right. 2 more, and then we're done. All right. Bottom first. Tweezers. Don't drop it now. Okay. It's in. There it is. One more secondary. Last one. I gotta be careful because that's right near the airplane that we put on. So a little bit of glue. Okay, that's there. And secondary. Got it. Rotate a little bit. And I think that's flat enough. Alright, I don't know how much of that you can see, but we've got secondaries. You've got your 4-barrel turrets on the front and back, the 2-barreled one there, and then you've got your superstructure pieces, the barrels, the cranes. I pulled that one crane off on the right and kind of reset it, and now they actually look fairly in line. So that's it. Once we prime it, I just got to find a nice kind of light ship gray, and we should be good. The ships mostly that I've been doing a ship gray, I got to find something lighter. They turn out to be a little bit darker than I like, but that's kind of how they turn out. So I'm going to find a little bit lighter gray for this. But this one is Iowa. I use that as my Missouri as well. Let's see, where's another one at? Here's a Musashi / Yamato for depending on what scenario we're doing. So we do that. So that's kind of how they're going to look when we're done. They look pretty good out on the table. So let's go up a little bit. So there's one built, and then there's a Prince of Wales, your Musashi Yamato, and I got the hood here still drying out. Wow, that hood, see when you put these things next to each other for perspective, I always imagined the Yamato was ginormous. Well, let me grab, oops, camera. Here is Bismarck. Then you add Bismarck to it, and Bismarck's pretty good sized as well. So it is kind of amazing when you kind of talk about scale and perspective. I didn't realize the Hood was pretty much just as long. It's a little slimmer in the back and the front than the Yamato. So Yamato was just really wide all the way through, except, you know, the front where it's cutting through the water. And this thing was, you know, just like the Bismarck, they're very narrow on the front and back. And the Bismarck is a tad bit smaller when I look at it than the Hood. So the Hood was ginormous. And then if you throw in a Prince of Wales, smush it all together, that's kind of a very stout little ship to hold all of that. So there's some of your primary combatants there. And then of course, again, if you bring in your Missouri, Iowa stuff, the Mighty Mo I have written on it. And then that one there, zoom out just a little bit, you know, and that's pretty lengthy as well, which, you know, beats out the Yamato a little bit. But as far as displacement and tonnage and stuff like that, Yamato was huge, bigger guns. So yeah, very, very interesting to see these guys all laid out. So once I have primed and painted the Hood Prince of Wales, then we'll be able to do a Battle of the Denmark Strait with Bismarck and the little Eugen here. Make sure, yeah, that's the Eugen. I have a Scharnhorst. Yep, that's a Scharnhorst, so we'll just leave that there. But then we've got the Prince Eugen ready to go. So it is also going to join the fray. So that will be those four ready for action. So there'll be Prince Eugen, Bismarck, Prince of Wales, and the Hood. And I don't know if that's going to be a battle that I film, but I mean that's going to be one I play with my son. We'll probably play it twice. Once with Naval Thunder rules, which has some detail, a little bit of nuts and bolts to it, and then once with General Quarters 3, which has a lot of nuts and bolts. But there's your ships. Alright, thank you so much for tuning in and then hanging out at the end to listen to me chat a little bit about the ships and what I plan to do, but they're done. I probably won't paint these on camera. I'm just going to paint them and maybe show you the finished ship here. There's the Prince Eugen. But that's how they're going to be. Now, trust me, I'm not very good at finding, well, I can find the camouflage patterns, but trying to paint these historically accurate is not quite my forte yet. So don't be alarmed or upset if you're like, hey, that doesn't look 100% right. That's okay. I'm sorry. But we'll do what we can to make them look good. Alright, thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye.